जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदानेश्वरी वृषभानुप्रिये प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। बोलो श्री राधे गोलोकानंद भगवान की जय। बोलो श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna.
All right, so start. कल हम लोगों ने 31st अध्याय कंप्लीट किया एंड दैट्स गोपी गीत। और फिर हम लोग गोपी गीत सुन भी रहे थे रमेश भाई ओझा की आवाज में। सो वी हर्ड हाफ पार्ट ऑफ इट, द अदर हाफ वी विल हियर दिस इवनिंग। या तो पढ़ेंगे, बट हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं। राइट, 32nd अध्याय। 32nd अध्याय इज अबाउट Lord Shri Krishna comes back and gives darshan to gopis. So after the gopi geet, how Bhagwan Krishna gives darshan, that's what is mentioned in 32nd adhyaya. So we'll start here. Anilji.
Shri Shuka Vacha iti gopyah pragayantyah pralapantyascha chitradha rurudaha susharam rajan Krishna darshana lalasah. Sukadev Goswami said, O king, having thus sung and spoken their hearts out in various charming ways, the gopis began to weep loudly. They were very eager to see Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Sukdev Goswami ji is describing this, right? He's of course mentioning this to Parikshit Maharaj, right? So they sung the songs, yeah, iti gopya pragayantya, yeah, chitradha. They sung all the various glories of Lord Shri Krishna, and then Ruru Duhe Suswaram, like Ruru Duhe, right? They started weeping loudly. And why? Because they were so eager to see the Krishna Darshan Lalsa. Yeah, to see Lord Shri Krishna, they started weeping. Ajay?
Tasami Virabhuchari Smay Man Mukhambaja Pitambar Dhara Stragvi Sakshanma Nama Thamam Matha. Then Lord Krishna, a smile on his lotus face, appeared before the gopis wearing a garland and a yellow garment. He directly appeared as one who can bewilder the mind of Cupid, who himself bewilders the minds of ordinary people. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so after gopis started weeping, Lord Shri Krishna appeared. Yeah, says Mukh Ambuja hai. Yeah, lotus face. And of course, he had Pitambar Dhara hai, right? With the yellow garment and the garland, he appeared before the gopis. Tam vilokya kya gatam preshtam vyutut phala drisho bala utasturya gpata sarvas istan vah pran mivagatam. When the gopis saw that their dearmost Krishna had returned to them, they all stood up at once, and out of their affection for him, their eyes bloomed wide. It was as if the air of life had re-entered their bodies. Yeah, like the pranavayu had come back, says pranami avagatam. It was as if the air of life had re-entered their bodies. Anilji?
काचित् कराम्बुजं शौरेर्ज ग्रहेञ्ज लीना मुदा काचित् दधार तद्वाहुमंसे चन्दनभूषितम्. One gopi joyfully took Krishna's hand between her folded palms, and another placed his arm, anointed with sandalwood paste, on her shoulder. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oops.
Ajay?
एका भ्रुकुटि मां बध्य प्रेम संरभ विफला ध्वंतवती वैक्षत कटाक्षेपे संदष्ट दशन नचता. One gopi beside herself with loving anger bit her lips and stared at him with frowning eyebrows as if to wound him with her harsh glances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. परानिमिषदृसृगभ्यां जुषाना तन्मुखाम्बुजम् आपीतमपि नातृप्य सन्तस्तच्चरणं यथा. Another gopi looked with unblinking eyes upon his lotus face. But even after deeply relishing its sweetness, she did not feel satiated, just as mystic sands are never satiated when meditating upon the Lord's feet. Right? So the gopis are looking at, another gopi looking at Lord Shri Krishna with unblinking eyes. Yeah. Say Jushana, then Tan Khambujam. And the way it's described is like the sons. They always want to meditate upon Lord's feet, and they meditate for long, long time. They don't get satiated for that. Says Sant ist charanam yatha. Lord Shri Krishna's feet, that's where they meditate, and they never are tired of that. Says here Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that the analogy given here of saintly persons meditating upon the Lord's feet is only partially applicable. Since the ecstasy the gopis felt when Krishna came back was actually unparalleled, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti also reveals that this particular gopi is the most fortunate of all, Srimati Radharani. Yeah. So this particular gopi, like as we know, like in different shloks, it has been described, this gopi did that, then one gopi did this, one gopi did this. In this particular shlok, Sukdev Goswamiji is describing that this gopi looked with unblinking eyes upon his lotus face, right? And she was still not satiated, and that's like they are referring to her as, that was actually Srimati Radharani. So, Aniji?
तं काचिन्नेत्ररणेन्द्राणा हृदि कृत्वा निमील्य च पुल्काङ्ग्युपगुहात् गुह्यास्ते योगीवानन्दसम्प्लुता. One gopi took the Lord through the aperture of her eyes and placed him within her heart. Then, with her eyes closed and her bodily hairs standing on end, she continuously embraced him within. Thus, immersed in transcendental ecstasy, she resembled a yogi meditating upon the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the other gopi, Ridhi Kritva. Yeah, she placed Lord Shri Krishna within her heart and thus immersed the transcendental ecstasy which is felt by the yogis. Says Yogi va Anand Sampulta. Right? She resembled a yogi meditating upon the Lord. Nice purport. Let's read this, Ajay.
Sure. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that the 7 gopis mentioned so far in the chapter are the first 7 of the 8 principal gopis, whose status allowed them to immediately approach Sri Krishna upon his appearance. The Acharya quotes verses from Sri Vaishnav Toshani that gives the name of these 7 as Chandravali, Shyamla, Sabia, Padma, Sri Radha, Lalita, and Vishakha. The 8th is understood to be Bhadra, Sri Bhadra. Sri Vaishnav Tashani itself quotes a verse from Shankar Puran that declares these 8 gopis to be the principal among the 3 billion gopis. Detailed information about the hierarchy of gopis available in Srila Rup Goswami's Ujjwal Nilamani. The Padma Puran confirms that Sri Radha is the foremost of the gopis. Yatha Radha Priya Vishnu's Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatho Sarva Gopisu Saivalika Vishnur Atyanta Vallabha. Just as Srimati Radharani is most dear to Krishna, her bathing pond is similarly dear. Of all the gopis, she is the most beloved of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Then Vrindavan you have Shyam Kund and Radha Kund, right? Remember this? Yeah. Anilji?
The Brihad Gautamiya Tantra also names Srimati Radharani as Krishna's foremost consort. Excuse me. Devi Krishna Mayi Prokta Radhika Para Devata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarva Kanti Sama Mohini Para. The transcendental goddess Srimati Radharani is the direct counterpart of Lord Sri Krishna. She is the central figure for all the goddesses of fortune. She possesses all attractiveness to attract the all-attractive personality of Godhead. She is the primeval internal potency of the Lord. This translation is Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Chaitanya Chitramrita Adi 4.83. Additional information about Sri Radha is given in the Rig Parishista, the supplement to the Rig Veda. Radhya Madhavo Devo Madhavo Venaiva Radhika Vibhragnate Janeshu. Among all persons, it is Sri Radha in whose company Lord Madhav is especially glorious, as she is especially glorious in his. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So that's the Radharani, yeah, talking about. Ajay?
Sarvasta Keshav Lok Parmotsav Nivrita Jahu Virhajam Tapam Pragyam Prapyatha Jana. All the gopis enjoyed the greatest festivity when they saw their beloved Keshav again. They gave up the distress of separation just as people in general forget their misery when they gain the association of a spiritually enlightened person. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, when say people forget the misery when they gain the association of a spiritually enlightened person. Jahur vir hajam tapam pragyam prape yatha jana hai. That's how they felt once they get the Keshav. Yeah, they got the Keshav again. They give up the distress of separation which was going through them. ताभि विदुत शोकाभि भगवान अच्युतो वृत व्यरोचताधिकं तात पुरुषः शक्तिर्भीयता. Encircled by the gopis who are now relieved of all distress, Lord Achyut, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, shone forth splendidly My dear king, Krishna thus appeared like the super soul encircled by his spiritual potency. Yeah, Shakti bhirta hai. He appeared like the super soul encircled by his spiritual potencies. Says here the gopis are Lord Krishna's internal potency. And therefore, when they were relieved and happy again, the Lord shone forth even more brilliantly than before, and his transcendental bliss increased. Krishna loves the gopis with pure transcendental love, and they love him in the same pure way. The whole affair, conducted on the transcendental platform, is inconceivable to those bound in material existence. Yeah. So that's a transcendental platform, the spiritual platform, right? The pure transcendental love is what's happening between gopis and Lord Shri Krishna. And it's mentioned the gopis are none other than Lord Shri Krishna's internal potency. Yeah. Anilji?
ताः समादाय कालिन्द्या निर्विश्य पुलिनं विभु विकासत्कुन्दा मन्दारसुरभ्य नीलष्टपदं शरचन्द्रांशु सन्दोह ध्वस्त दोषात्मः शिवं कृष्णाया हस्त तरला चित्तकोमल वालुकम्. The Almighty Lord then took the gopis with him to the bank of the Kalindi, who, with the hands of her waters, her waves, had scattered piles of soft sand upon the shore. In that auspicious place, the breeze, bearing the fragrance of blooming kunda and mandar flowers, attracted many bees, and the abundant rays of the autumn moon dispelled the darkness of night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, like a Sharad Purnima at that time. Ajay?
Shnaha Davidhu Trahidojo Manorathant Shrutiyo Yatha Yayuh Swairuttariye Kuchukum Makinte Rachiklapanna Sanmatna Bandhave. Their heartache vanquished by the ecstasy of seeing Krishna. The gopis, like the personified Vedas before them, felt their desires completely unfilled. For their dear friends Krishna, they arranged a seat with the shawls which were smeared with the kumkum provider from their breasts. Hare Krishna.
In the 87th chapter of this canto, text 23, the Shrutis or personified Vedas pray as follows. Striya Rangendra Bhoga Bhuja Danda Vishtadhiyo Vyam Api Re Samaha Api Te Samaha Samadraso Nitri Saroja Sudha. These women fully absorb their minds in meditation on Lord Krishna's powerful arms, which are like the bodies of great serpents. We want to become just like the gopis and render service to his lotus feet. The Shrutis had seen Krishna during his appearance in the previous day of Brahma and had become full of the most intense desire to associate with him. Then in this kalp, they became gopis, and since the Vedas are eternal in human society, the Shrutis in this kalp also become full of desire for Krishna, and in the next kalp will also become gopis. This information is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. It's very interestingly, what is mentioned is Srutis, yeah, the Vedas are referred as Srutis, right? And since the Srutis they had seen Krishna during his appearance in the previous day of Brahma. it's mentioned that Lord Sri Krishna appears only once in one day of Brahma. Right? Actually, now if you have forgotten, do you remember how long is one day of Lord Brahma?
432 billion years.
4 billion, 32 million years. Yeah. 4 billion, 32 million is one day of Lord Brahma with 72 Manvantars. Yeah, there are 72 Yug cycles, Manvantars. Sorry, 14 Manus. 14 Manus. Each Manus having 72 Yug cycles in each Manvantar. So 14 times 72 Manvantars are in one day of Lord Brahma. Anyway, right? So Shrutis wanted to see Krishna, right? And that's why they came as a gopi in this kalp, right? So they can associate with Lord Shri Krishna directly. And they are saying that since the Vedas are eternal in human society, the Shrutis in this kalp also become full desire of Krishna. And in the next kalp will also become gopis, is what is mentioned. तत्रोपविष्टो भगवान् स ईश्वरो योगेश्वरान्तरिधि कल्पितासनः चकास गोपी परिषद्गतो अर्चित स्त्रेलोक्यलक्षेकपदं पपूर्धदत्. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for whom the great masters of mystic meditation arrange a seat within their hearts, took his seat in the assembly of gopis. His transcendental body, the exclusive abode of beauty and opulence within the three worlds, shone brilliantly as the gopis worshipped him. Yeah. What is being mentioned by Lord Shri Krishna is, first of all, the great masters of mystic meditation, Yogeshwaran Ridhi Kalpitasana, Kalpit Asana hai. They give asana in their heart. The yogis, right? They meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna and feel like he is in their heart. Right? They give a seat within their hearts. What is mentioned is such a great master of mystic meditation, the Yogeshwar, took a seat in the assembly of gopis. So all the gopis are there, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is actually situated, and the big yogis give seat into their hearts, is actually sitting in the front, in the assembly of gopis. And what they are saying is his transcendental body, yeah, which is the abode of beauty and opulence within the three worlds, says as Trelokya Lakshmeka Padam. Yeah, says the exclusive abode of beauty and opulence within the three worlds shone brilliantly as the gopis worship him. Right? So that's shown pretty brilliantly. Says here the masters of mystic meditation include Lord Shiva, Ananta Shesh, and other exalted personalities, all of whom keep the Lord seated within the lotus of their hearts. The same Lord, conquered by the intense, selfless love of the gopis, agreed to become their boyfriend and dance with them in Vrindavan after sitting upon the fragrant shawls on the banks of the Yamuna river. Yeah. So it shows the power of selfless love and devotion of the gopis. Yeah, that Lord Shri Krishna himself is doing the Ras Leela with them. Yeah, and he is the one Supreme Personality of Godhead whom the mystic meditation, the masters of mystic meditation, who are the masters like Lord Shiva, right, Ananta Sesh, and other exalted personalities, they keep Lord Krishna in their heart, lotus of their hearts. Yeah, that Lord Sri Krishna is sitting in the assembly of gopis, is what is mentioned. Anilji?
समाजयित्वा तमनङ्गदीपनं सहासलीलेक्षणविभ्रमभ्रुवा संस्पर्शनेनाङ्क कृताङ्ग गृहस्थयो संस्तुत्य ईषत् कुपिता बभाषिरे. Sri Krishna had awakened romantic desires within the gopis, and they honored him by glancing at him with playful smiles, gesturing amorously, with their eyebrows and massaging his hands and feet as they held them in their laps. Even while worshipping him, however, they felt somewhat angry, and thus they addressed him as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Even then, Ishit Kupita, they were still not very happy, or they're little bit somewhat angry, and so they asked him something. श्री गोप्य ऊचुः भजतो अनु भजन्ते एक एतद्विपर्यमम् नो भयांश्च भजन्ते एतन्नो ब्रूहि साधुभो. The gopis said, some people reciprocate the affection only of those who are affectionate towards them, while others show affection even to those who are indifferent or inimical, and yet others will not show affection toward anyone. Like even if, so dear Krishna, please properly explain this matter to us. So the gopis are asking Lord Shri Krishna, right? Bhajato anu bhajante. Like some people will reciprocate if the other people are affectionate. So then they'll be affectionate toward, like I'll like give and take, right? Others show affection whether somebody gives them affection or not. They are like universe, they give affection to everyone. And some people, what is mentioned is, yet others will not show affection toward anyone. Saying like even if people are affectionate towards them or indifferent, still they will not show the affection, right? So who are you? Basically, they are saying, dear Krishna, please properly explain this matter to us. So they're asking because Lord Sri Krishna disappeared, right? That's why they're asking him this, like, hey, some people don't show the affection towards anyone, right? So they're asking him to describe this. By this apparently polite question, the gopis want to expose Lord Krishna's failure to properly reciprocate their love. They were very disturbed when Sri Krishna left them in the forest, and they want to know why he caused them to suffer in these loving affairs. Ajay?
Shri Bhagavan Uvaч Mitho bhajanti ye sakhyah swarthai kanto demahite na tatra sohidam dharma swatarth tadvi nanyatha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, so-called friends who show affection for each other only to benefit themselves are actually selfish. They have no true friendship, nor they following the true principles of religion. Indeed, if they did not expect benefit for themselves, they would not reciprocate. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the Lord Shri Krishna is responding to the first type of people, right? Mitho bhajanti ye sakya swarte kantyo dhamaite. They are like selfish, right? Kind of swarte. They only show affection if they get the affection. So what they are saying is these people have na tatra shoridham dharma hai. They have no true friendship, nor are they following the true principles of religion. Like no one will respect them with true friendship because they know like it's give and take relationship, not really a true friendship relationship, right? And indeed, if they did not expect benefit for themselves, they would not reciprocate, right? So those are the people. So Anilji?
भजन्ति भजतो ये वै करुणाः पितरो यथा धर्मो निरपवादोत्र सौहृदं च सुमध्यमाः. My dear slender-waisted gopis, some people are genuinely merciful or, like parents, naturally affectionate. Such persons who devotedly serve even those who fail to reciprocate with them are following the true, faultless path of religion, and they are true well-wishers. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And this is the second category, right? They are filled with karuna, genuinely merciful, and so they are like parents. Parents will be affectionate towards their children in general. irrespective of how they are, right? So they are saying, Ye ve karuna hai pitro yatha. And those people are dharmo nirapvado. Yeah. They are the people who are the true faultless path of religion. They follow the true faultless path of religion, and they are the real well-wishers. So Ridham, they are the true well-wishers. Bhajito api nave kechid bhajante bhajitah kutah atmarama raptakama akritagya guru druha. Then there are those individuals who are spiritually self-satisfied, materially fulfilled, or by nature ungrateful, or simply envious of superiors. Such persons will not love even those who love them. What to speak of those who are inimical? I think the third category is people who are satisfied by themselves. Materialistically, they have everything, and then they are not grateful to anyone. They are like ungrateful, envious of superiors, and they will not reciprocate the love, is what is mentioned. Says here, some people being spiritually self-satisfied do not reciprocate others' affection because they want to avoid entanglement in mundane dealings. Other persons do not reciprocate simply out of envy or arrogance. And still others fail to reciprocate because they are materially satisfied and thus uninterested in new material opportunities. Lord Krishna patiently explains all these things to the gopis. Ajay?
Naham tu sakhyo bhajto api jantun bhajamyam mishvanu vrittiv vrichyade yatha dhano labdha dhane vinishte tachinya tachintya yanyan bhuto naved. But the reason I do not immediately reciprocate the affection of living beings, even when they worship me, O Gopis, is that I want to intensify their loving devotion. They then become like a poor man who has gained some wealth and then lost it, and who thus becomes so anxious about it that he can think of anything else. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. But then, of course, Lord Sri Krishna is answering the gopis' question essentially, right? Saying that na aham tu sakhyo bhajito api chantuna. Yeah. Why he not immediately reciprocating the affection of living beings is because he wants to intensify their loving devotion. Bhajamya amisha manu anuvritti vrittiye, right? And says yatha dhano labdha dhane vinaste. Like it's like somebody getting some dhan and then losing it. And when you lose it, then they are just thinking about those wealth, right? So then you are totally devoted. That's what Lord Sri Krishna did to the gopis. He disappeared, and then all the gopis were just thinking about Lord Krishna, totally attached to Lord Krishna, right? Says, who thus becomes so anxious that he can think of nothing else. That's what Lord Krishna is telling them. That's why he did that to them. Hare Krishna, Premcha.
Hare Krishna, Govind. Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam pradpadyante tams ta taiva bhajemi aham. As people approach me, I reciprocate with them accordingly. Even when if the Lord is approached by someone with devotion, to intensify the devotee's love, the Lord may not immediately reciprocate fully. In fact, the Lord is truly reciprocating. After all, a sincere devotee always prays to the Lord, please help me to love you purely. Therefore, the Lord's so called neglect is actually the fulfillment of the devotee's prayer. Lord Krishna intensifies our love for him by appearing apparently separating himself from us, and the result is that we achieve what we really wanted and prayed for: intense love for the absolute truth, Krishna. Thus, Lord Krishna's apparent negligence is actually his thoughtful reciprocation and the fulfillment of our deepest and purest desire. According to the Acharyas, as Lord Krishna began to speak this verse, the gopis looked at one another with squinting eyes, trying to hide the smiles breaking out on their faces. Even as Lord Krishna was speaking, the gopis had begun to realize that he was bringing them to the highest perfection of loving service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So what Lord Krishna is saying is, it gets them the intense love for the absolute truth, Krishna. Right. Anilji?
एवं मदर्थो जिच्छत लोक वेद स्वानाम ही वो मयन्नुवृत्तेयबलाः मया परोक्षं भजता तिरोहितं मासूयितं माहृत तत्प्रियं प्रियाः. My dear girls, understanding that simply for my sake you had rejected the authority of worldly opinion, of the Vedas and of your relatives, I acted as I did only to increase your attachment to me. Even when I removed myself from your side by suddenly disappearing, I never stopped loving you. Therefore, my beloved gopis, please do not harbor any bad feelings toward me, your beloved. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so Lord Krishna is finally clarifying why he disappeared, right? And then he's saying that, my beloved gopis, please don't harbor any bad feelings toward me. Yeah. Here the Lord indicates that though the gopis were already perfect in their love for him, still to inconceivably increase their perfection and show an example for the world, he acted as he did. Yeah, that's what that Leela is. What is mentioned. Napariyeham nirvadya sanyujam svasadhu krityam vibhudayusha shivah yama bhajan durjara geha shinkala hai samvrishya tatava pratiyatu sadhuna. I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Yeah, that's what Lord Sri Krishna is saying, that I cannot repay your debt even within a lifetime of Brahma. What is the lifetime of Brahma?
1,000 years?
4 billion
1,000
32
Brahma's
million.
years. Yeah. 4 billion 32 million
32
is
million years.
Brahma. So almost 350 trillion years is Lord Brahmaji's life. Yeah, 350 trillion years. Yeah, I think 1,000 yuga cycles, 1,000 Brahmaji's days. And one day in that is 4 billion 32 million years. So that you multiply by whatever. So, anyways, what Lord Sri Krishna is saying is, I am not able to repay the debt for your spotless service. The total dedication to Lord Sri Krishna, even within a lifetime of Lord Brahma, is what he is mentioning. And so what he's saying is, samvrishya tatva pratiyatu sadhuna. Saying, like your activities, therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. Ajay?
The translation and word meanings of this verse are taken from Srila Prabhupada's English rendering of Sri Chaitanya Charitatma, ADI 4.180. In conclusion, the gopis became externally glorious by their behavior in Lord's temporary absence, and the mutual love between them and the Lord was wonderfully enhanced. This is the perfection of Krishna and his loving devotees. Thus end the purports of these humble servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the 10th canto, 37th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Reunion. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, Bolo Srimad Bhagavatam ki.
Jai.
Jai.
So basically, if you remember, right, like what is being mentioned here is, this is the English rendering has been taken from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yeah. So there's another grade of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glorification is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is also huge editions. I think there are 3 editions. So it's about Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that's where Swami Prabhupada has described this, because in Srimad Bhagavatam, like if you see, I think we encountered a chapter, right, which was in 10th skand itself. I think between 10 to 20, I don't remember exactly right now, but that's when only up to them that Srila Prabhupada's purport is there. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada's purport is there only till then. After that, it's not his purport, right? But those meanings and everything has been taken from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which was described by Srila Prabhupada already. Yeah, so some of those have been taken from that. And so then, of course, Swami Prabhupada's disciples completed this after that. So this we also complete 32nd chapter, which is about the reunion, right? Which means the Lord Shri Krishna appears again to gopis after the Gopi Geet, as we saw. And I think we have 15 minutes remaining of the Gopi Geet, so we can actually pause here maybe. And then the next chapter is about the Ras dance, how the Ras Leela is performed by Lord Shri Krishna among all the gopis. Yeah. So maybe we'll start that next Monday. And meanwhile, let's hear the rest of Gopi Geet again. So Ramesh Bhai Oja's live Katha, live Bhagavatam of Ramesh Bhai Oja. That's where we are. I mean, few years ago, but we are listening to that. So yesterday we heard half, and we'll hear the remaining half now.
कई भाव है गोपियों के। एक गोपी बोली, अरे तव कथा अमृतम नहीं, तव कथा मृतम। तेरी कथा ने ही मारा है हमको, तेरी कथा से हम मरी है। न सुनती तेरी कथा, न होता तेरे लिए प्रेम, और न होती आज हमारी ये दशा। पता नहीं कौन मुहूर्त में कथा में चली गई थी, आज जो तड़पना पड़ रहा है। या तो एक बोली, तुम तो मार डालते, तुम्हारी कथा रूपी अमृत ने हमको जिंदा रखा है, तुम्हारी कथा ने जिंदा रखा। तो दूसरी गोपी बोली, अरे न तो इनकी कथा में न तो इनमें कोई बखान करने लायक है। ये हमको जीने नहीं देते और इनकी कथा हमको मरने नहीं देती। दोनों दुखी कर रहे हैं। नहीं तो कम से कम मर जाएं तो बात का अंत तो हो जाए। लेकिन इन्होंने और इनकी कथा ने दोनों ने परेशान कर रखा। ये अपने वियोग में हमको जीने नहीं देते और इनकी कथा हमको मरने नहीं देती। तब कथामृतम तप्त जीवनम, तब कथामृतम तप्त जीवनम, कविभिरीडितम कल्मषापहम, कविभिरीडितम कल्मषापहम। श्रवणमंगलम श्रीमदाततम, भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिदा जना, भुवि गृह्णन्ति ते भूरिदा जना। तप्त जीवनम, तप्तानाम जीवनम, शोक संतप्तानाम, पाप तप्तानाम, दुख तप्तानाम जीवनम। जन साधारण जो दुख के कारण तप्त है, शोक संतप्त है, उनके लिए ये जीवन बन जाती है, उनका आधार बन जाती है। लेकिन जो वैष्णव हैं, जो भक्त हैं, उनके लिए बोले तव विरह ताप तप्तानाम जीवनम, तव कथामृतम। तुम्हारे वियोग के ताप में जो तप रहे, संसार के ताप में तपना ये साधारण जीवों का काम है, उनका भी ये जीवन है। लेकिन श्रेष्ठ तो वे हैं जो भगवान के वियोग के ताप में तपते हैं, उनका भी ये जीवन है। इसलिए कवि भी ईडितम, कवि पुरुषों ने, संत पुरुषों ने जिसका बखान किया है, बहुत प्रशंसा करी है, वैसी तुम्हारी ये कथा। श्रवण मंगलम, जो सुने उसका मंगल करने वाली। एक गोपी बोली श्रवण मंगलम, सुनने में ही मंगल है। बाद में तो सब सुनते समय तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है, सुनते समय बहुत अच्छी लगती है, लेकिन बाद में बहुत दुखी करती, बड़ा तड़पाती। फिर यही विचार आता है कि देखो वैसे तो 2:45 बजते ही पहुंच जाते थे, और दिन कहाँ बीत जाता था कथा में पता नहीं चलता था। परसों से क्या करेंगे, दिन कैसे कटेगा। तो श्रवण समय में तो बहुत अच्छी लगती है, सुनते समय बहुत अच्छी लगती है, लेकिन बाद में बहुत तड़पाती, बड़ा दुखी करती। श्रवण मंगल। और इस कथा रूपी अमृत के देने वाले जो कथाकार हैं वे भूरिदा जना, बड़े उदार दाता है। गोपियों ने बड़ा ऊंचा सर्टिफिकेट दिया कथावाचकों को, भूरिदा जना, ये संसार के सबसे श्रेष्ठ दाता है। प्रहसितं प्रिया प्रेम वीक्षणम्, विहरणं च ते ध्यानमङ्गलम्, रहसि संविदो यारुदिस्पृशः, कुहकनो मनः क्षोभयन्ति, इस श्लोक में 2 संबोधन है, हे प्रिय और हे कपटी। प्रेम मिश्रित गुस्सा है। कहती है अरे ओ कपटी, हे प्रिय। प्रिय प्रुई धातु से प्रिय शब्द बनता है। प्रुई तर्पणे, तृप्ति के अर्थ में है प्रुई धातु। जिससे हमको तृप्ति मिले, जो हमको तृप्त करे, वो है प्रिय। चाहे वस्तु हो चाहे व्यक्ति, जिसका दर्शन हमको तृप्त करे, जिसकी वाणी हमको तृप्त करे, जिसका स्मरण हमको तृप्त करे, प्रिय, तुम्हारा हे प्रिय, तुम्हारा मधुर हास्य, तुम्हारी प्रेम पूर्ण दृष्टि, जब देखते हो हमें तो उन नेत्रों से प्रेम बरसता है। तुम्हारा मधुर विहार, एकांत में हुए तुम्हारे साथ वो संवाद, तुम्हारे साथ हुई वो बातें, सब हमारे दिल को छूता है। वो बातें दिल को छूने वाली, रहस्य संविदम या हृदय स्पृशा। हे कपटी, इससे हमारे मन में क्षोभ उत्पन्न होता है। पहले तो तुम हमारे भीतर प्रेम जगाते हो और फिर तुम चले जाते हो, हमें अपने वियोग में तड़पाते हो। ऐसा कपट क्यों करते हो? ये खेल क्यों खेल रहे हो हमारे साथ? तनिक हमारे प्रेम को देखो। तुम जब दिन में गाय चराने जाते हो वन में, तो हे प्यारे, तुम्हारे कोमल कोमल चरणों में, जंगल में कंकड़, कंटक, दर्भांकुर सब लगता होगा। तुम्हारे तो चरणों में लगता है, लेकिन हमारे दिल में लगता है, क्योंकि तुम्हारे चरणों को हमने अपने हृदय में पधराया। दिन भर तुम्हारे वियोग ताप में हम तपती रहती हैं, और जब संध्या समय तुम वापस लौट आते हो, आगे आगे गैया, पीछे पीछे तुम, तो गायों के खुर से उड़ी हुई धूल से भर जाते हो। वैसे तो शाम हो, लेकिन तब पांडुरंग हो जाते हो। गायों के पीछे दौड़ते हुए, हाथ में छड़ी और बांसुरी, और जब चले आते हो, वापस लौट आते हो, तो उस वक्त तुम्हारे मुख चंद्र पर काले घुंघराले लंबे बालों की अलकें नृत्य कर रही होती हैं, और उस मुखारविंद का जब हम दर्शन करती हैं, तो हमारे मन में कामना जागृत होती है तुम्हें मिलने की, तुम्हें पाने की। और उस कामना को पूर्ण करने के लिए हम तुम्हारे चरणों में ही नमस्कार करती हैं, क्योंकि जो इन चरणों में नमस्कार करता है उसकी कामना पूर्ण हो जाती है। इसलिए प्रणत कामदम पद्मजार्चितम, प्रणत कामदम पद्मजार्चितम, धरणि मंडनम ध्येयमापदि, धरणि मंडनम ध्येयमापदि, चरण पंकजम शन्तमंचते, रमणनस्तनेश्वर पयाधिहन्, प्रणाम करने वालों की कामना को देने वाले, पूर्ण करने वाले आपके ये चरण, पद्मजार्चितम, लक्ष्मी के द्वारा पूजित आपके ये चरण, धरणि मंडनम, धरती के लिए शोभा रूप, जब से धरती पर पधारे हैं ये चरण, धरती की शोभा बढ़ गई है। ध्येयम आपदि, विपत्ति में ध्यान करने योग्य ये चरण। हे रमण, हमारे हृदय में पधराओ और ये वियोग का जो ताप है उसको शांत करो। शोभा को बढ़ाने वाले, शोक का नाश करने वाले, तुम्हारे अधर, अधर का अमृत, स्वरित वेणुना सुष्ठु चुंबितम, वेणु जब स्वरित होती है, बज रही होती है, तब ऐसा लगता है जैसे वेणु तुम्हारे अधरों को चूम रही है। स्वरित वेणुना सुष्ठु चुंबितम, तुम्हारे वो अधर और उन अधरों का अमृत, हे वीर हमको पिलाओ। धरायाः अमृतम धरामृतम, न धरामृतम इति अधरामृतम। सुंदर अर्थ किया भागवत के विद्वानों ने। धरा पृथ्वी का अमृत सुख, धरामृत। लेकिन जो पृथ्वी का सुख नहीं, वही है अधरामृत, यानी जो अलौकिक सुख है, भगवद अनुभूति का जो अलौकिक सुख है। प्रभु हम पर कृपा करो और अपनी अनुभूति का वह अलौकिक सुख हमको कराओ, उस सुख का दान करो। जब तुम वन में गाय चराते हो तो तुम्हारे वियोग में हमारी एक एक क्षण युग समान बीतती है, और संध्या समय जब तुम वापस लौट आते हो, हम तुम्हारा दर्शन करती हैं, तब ये आंखों की पलकें जो बीच में आती है ना, तो उतना भी विक्षेप तुम्हारे दर्शन में हमसे सहा नहीं जाता। तब हमको लगता है ब्रह्मा ने ये पलकें क्यों बनाई, जड़ है, कुछ आता ही नहीं ब्रह्मा जी को। ये जो तुम्हारे दर्शन में विक्षेप करती हैं, ब्रह्मा जी ने क्यों बनाई? तनिक हमारे प्रेम की ओर देखो। पतिसुतान्वया भ्रातृबान्धवान्, अतिविलङ्घ्यतेऽन्त्यच्युता गता, गतिविदस्तवोद्गीतमोहिता, कि तव योषितः कस्त्यजिन्निषि। तुम्हारे प्रेम में पागल होकर के हम अपने पतियों, अपने भाइयों, अपने माता पिताओं, सगे संबंधियों, सबको छोड़कर उन बड़ों की आज्ञा का उल्लंघन करके दौड़कर तुम्हारे पास आ गई, स्त्री होते हुए भी, मर्यादाओं में जकड़ी होते हुए भी, रात का समय होते हुए भी, और तुम जंगल में होते हुए भी। कितना बड़ा साहस किया हमने, और एक तुम हो कि हमको इस रात में जंगल में अकेला छोड़ करके चले गए। कितने गैर जिम्मेदार पुरुष हो। कोई दूसरा होता तो कहता डरना नहीं, मैं हूं ना, और एक तुम, जिम्मेदारी का कोई भान ही नहीं, हमें अकेला इस वन में छोड़कर चले गए। देखो ये संसार है ना, वही अटवी है, भवाटवी का वर्णन आया है ना भागवत में। और इस संसार रूपी वन में, जंगल में प्रभु यदि तुम छोड़कर चले जाओगे तो स्वाभाविक है भय लगेगा, लेकिन तुम्हारे प्रेम के चलते तो सब भय को छोड़कर हम साहस करती हुई तुम्हारे पास आ गई। अब तुम नहीं हो तो भय लग रहा है। ते अंति आगता, तुम्हारे समीप आई। किसी के दिल तक पहुंचना कठिन, तुम्हारे उद्गीत में मोहित होकर, ये जो तुमने वेणु बजाई, उद्गीत, एक होता है गीत जो कंठ से गाया जाए, और एक होता है उद्गीत जो दिल से गाया जाए। तो ये वेणु जो है वो तुम्हारा उद्गीत है, और उस उद्गीत में मोहित होकर के हम तुम्हारे पास चली आई, और हम वामाओं को इस वन में अकेला छोड़कर रात के समय में चले गए। कितने गैर जिम्मेदार हो। उलाहना के अर्थ में है, और दूसरी सखी इसको स्तुति के अर्थ में भी कह रही है कि जिनके सौंदर्य को देखकर स्वर्ग की अप्सराएं भी लजाएं, ऐसी हम सुंदर ब्रजवधू तुम्हारे प्रेम में पागल होकर रात के समय में वन के एकांत में दौड़कर तुम्हारे पास आ गई, और तुम हमें छोड़कर चले गए। मतलब तुम मोहित नहीं हुए हम में, तुम च्युत नहीं हुए, तुम अच्युत हो। इसलिए यहां पर भगवान को अच्युत कहा गया। हे अच्युत, जिस प्रकार कामदेव पंचसायक है, 5 बाण हैं कामदेव के, उससे प्राणियों को वो घायल करता है। प्यारे, तुमने भी 5 बाणों से हमको घायल किया। कौन कौन से? रहस्य संविदम रुच्छयोदयम्, रहस्य संविदम रुच्छयोदयम्, प्रहसिताननम् प्रेम वीक्षणम्, प्रहसिताननम् प्रेम वीक्षणम्, बृहदुरश्रियो वीक्षधाम ते, मुहुरतिस्पृहा मुह्यते मनः, मुहुरतिस्पृहा मुह्यते मनः।
Mhm. Yeah, I think it ended at shlok 17. There are 2 more shloks left. So we'll hear it somewhere. Just give 1 second. So just 2 more shloks. Yeah. We'll hear it in a different way, but let's complete this. Okay. Okay, I think that completes the Gopi Git. A lot of people have sung this actually. So you can hear various stutis in different ways. It's pretty nice. They say like Sant log bolte hain, like if you can really feel that viraha of gopis and be like a gopi and then uh, pray for darshan of Lord Shri Krishna, Lord Shri Krishna actually appears and gives darshan. Right? That's the importance of Gopi Git. So nice to read and listen to that. And we will continue next Monday.
Yep.
9 p.m. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, everyone.
Krishna.
Krishna.